How do you do, fellow kids? We in the mainstream media heard you love the internet in-jokes known as memes, so we decided to dedicate an entire top 10 to them. I'm David Jarrett, and this is GINX Esport TV's list of the top 10 gaming memes. I can ask cheeseburger, guys. Haha, yes, nah. We'll start with a classic from the 1989 shoot-'em-up Zero Wing. Imagine you're an 80s kid. You rollerblade home early from POG practice, excited to chuck a shiny new cartridge into your state-of-the-art Amstrad. 5 minutes later, the game boots up and the opening title sequence starts to play. This is the future of gaming. And then you hear it.
How are you, gentlemen? All your base are belong to us.
And there's only one thing you'd think. The future is awesome! Fast forward to the present, and those 7 little words have kept cropping up at random points in time. In 2006, YouTube went down for maintenance, replacing the entire website with the message, "All your video all belong to us." Even later in 2014, hopefully not evil super genius, Elon Musk referenced it in a pretty serious press release. So say this meme ain't funny. We dare you. See if our boy Elon lets you onto Mars. If you're really not sold, try some other strokes of mistranslated zero-wing genius. Like the one about the bomb.
Somebody set up us the bomb.
Or the one where the bad guys get what they deserve.
For great justice.
Each of these still get referenced to this day. Not bad for a game that's older than many of you watching this right now. We humans are simple creatures. We hear something enough times and we're compelled to repeat it. That's why everyone voted for and it's also what happened in 2011, when each one of Skyrim's non-playable characters let us know their tragic backstory that no one ever asked for.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
Over and over and over again.
I used to be a Jarl. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
For what must have been the next few decades, social media was filled with people repeating the quote whenever they got the chance. It almost stopped being funny at one point. But then, thankfully, it started being funny again.
The divine saved me from
arrow
the
in
streets,
the knee.
and they can
Arrow in
save
the
you
knee.
from your trials as well.
Arrow in the knee.
How could that ever get
Arrow in
old?
the knee.
You know what? I'll give up. If you can't beat them, I guess you gotta take an arrow to the knee. In honor of the spiky blue subject matter of our number 8 entry, we'll whiz through this one as quickly as we possibly can. Sonic the Hedgehog's been a gaming staple since the 90s, and he's inspired tons of fan art during that time of varying levels of weirdness. But no single piece has struck more of a chord than Gotta Go Fast. Nobody knows who drew it, but the artwork has inspired dozens of parodies of varying quality. The strange Sonic-like creature the work depicts has even made a cameo in Cartoon Network's Steven Universe, in which he's looking even better than ever. That's it, section complete in record time. Sonic would be proud. The best memes can actually be used, not just referenced. Combo Breaker, which dates back to the 1994 arcade fighter Killer Instinct, is a great example, because this meme is straight up designed to ruin people's fun. Teamwork isn't generally the internet's strong suit, and it's particularly tough on an online message board. People like to try though, and scrolling through forums you'll run into plenty of text-based minigames in which people try and chain their posts to a team without being interrupted. A well-timed combo breaker can ruin it for everyone, restoring internet equilibrium. The meme can be found all over the place, but the best example by far comes courtesy of Saints Row 3. To claim his combo breaker achievement, you need to do 150,000 bucks worth of damage in one go during Sexy Kitten Yarngasm, aka the minigame where you roll a giant ball of yarn through a city to break as many things as possible. That's right, you roll a giant ball of yarn through a city to break as many things as possible. One more time, just for clarity. You roll a giant ball of yarn. Isn't it just the worst when you're enjoying a nice day of senseless murder and your annoying cousin calls to ask you if you want to go bowling? It's happened to all of us. Am I right, guys? If you don't know what I'm talking about, go and play GTA 4 right this second. Before its release, Rockstar boasted how you'd be able to take control of Nico's busy social life. You could apparently go on dates with beautiful women and make loads of super cool friends. Basically an in-game version of my own life, and I presume yours as well if you're a GINX TV viewer. What they promised sounded awesome. What we actually got was this.
Nico, my cousin! I can't believe you're here! Welcome to Bravo,
The quote became so infamous, it inspired its own music video. This is far from the only GTA meme, and it won't be the last. Another great moment to achieve meme status is Big Smoke's infamous fast food order from San Andreas.
I'll have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, a number 7, 2 number 45s, 1 with cheese, and a large soda.
If that clip made you hungry, fear not. There's delicious cake in the next section. You know what? We can do better than cake. Watch this section to the end and we'll give you and your family an all-expenses paid trip to beautiful Hawaii. In at number 5 is a quote from the evil geniuses at Valve, who taught us a horrible lesson in their 2007 masterpiece Portal. GLaDOS, who's been promising cake, is guiding us through an endless series of increasingly treacherous puzzles. Only the thought of dessert is keeping us going. And then, to our dismay, the writing is suddenly on the wall. There never was any cake. We Portal players know that now, as does everyone else. The metaphor's so strong it transcended memery and became an actual phrase in its own right. GLaDOS, you may have stolen our dessert, but you blessed us with a beautiful new idiom. So we win. Kind of. Congrats, you made it to the end of the section. Sadly, we were lying about that free holiday, so you'll have to settle for the cake instead. Also, there's no cake. Do a barrel roll. Do a barrel roll. Do a barrel roll. Hey, if we said that a few more times in a row, it might start to get annoying. That's exactly the epiphany none of the Star Fox 64 devs had back in '97. Instead, they scripted their boy Peppy to give you the same advice again, and again, and again.
Do a barrel roll! Do a barrel roll! Try a barrel roll! Flippy, get back here! Flippy, walk out! Go barrel roll!
The meme blew up in 2006, thanks mainly to the people on a certain anonymous message board we're too scared to mention. And it's been hovering around ever since, probably doing barrel rolls along the way. The meme's usage is two-pronged. Its first context is when somebody falls head over heels by accident. Its second is when somebody asks advice and you can't be bothered to think of a proper response. So you just tell them to do a barrel roll. So how can you trigger the Google Easter egg where it spins 360 degrees? Yep, you guessed it. Valve giveth, Valve taketh away. The 1998 Half-Life was a piece of video game art, a first-person shooter that proved the genre could support a cohesive story in which people actually cared about the fate of its characters. The 2004 sequel? Arguably even better. The same great building blocks but with an added emphasis on puzzles and challenges over straight-up gunplay. They're two of the best games of all time and they sold millions. So a third was surely inevitable. But then, gradually, people realised it wasn't. What you're about to see is all the Half-Life 3 gameplay Valve ever released. Yep. 13 years later, those mean old devs are still not even confirmed Half-Life 3's existence. But the internet's staying hopeful. And people love memeing their conspiracy theories. The PS4 going up against the Xbox One? Half-Life 3 confirmed. Valve owner Gabe Newell touches his nose during an interview? Half-Life 3 confirmed. And we're not saying we have insider info, but is it just coincidence that this is entry number 3? The internet can often be a salty sea of sarcasm, and coming across as genuine is surprisingly tough. Thankfully, there's a surefire way to pay your respects without anyone being able to misinterpret you. Call of Duty memes. The good folks at Infinity Ward made it as simple as typing the letter that comes after the letter D on a keyboard, and also comes after the letter that comes after the letter D in the alphabet, which is the letter F, obviously. In the Advanced Warfare single-player campaign, Private Will Irons has fallen in battle, and you can offer him a farewell salute with a single button press, F by default on a keyboard and mouse. The memes moved far beyond its Call of Duty origins, and now you'll see it all over Twitch and other sites. If a popular streamer loses a close game or goes down a rank, their chat's going to get absolutely flooded with Fs. How else are we meant to show how much we care without looking like we're mocking them? In at number 1 is the meme that marks the beginning of the internet as we know it. It was first uploaded to YouTube in 2005. That's the year that YouTube first existed. Leroy Jenkins holds a special place in the hearts of millions of millennials. For many of us, it's the first viral vid we ever saw. The first time we turned to our friends and asked, innocently, wait, is this for real?
Alright, thumbs up.
Ready, guys?
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins!
Oh my god, he just ran in.
If you still believe in Santa, cover your ears now. It's not real. The character of Leroy is played by a guy named Ben Schultz, who made the sketch with some friends simply to make each other laugh. And they went viral. 14 years later, it still is. Schultz even found himself speaking at various events over the next few years, such as BlizzCon 07. Leroy Jenkins is a name that's now embedded deeply into the culture of the internet. The game they're playing, World of Warcraft, is still nearly as big as when the video went public 14 years ago. The internet can be a cruel place, and memes age and die quicker than a mayfly on fast forward. But Leroy Jenkins, he's eternal.
Leroy Jenkins!
I've been David Jarrett, and this has been a nostalgia-inducing trip across decades of video game memery. We'll see you next time. Man, who would have thought that such a light-hearted episode would make us feel so very old?